Good evening from downtown St. Louis. Again, tonight we are talking about fairly quiet weather around the St. Louis area, across the bi-state. We had a little front come through earlier today. As expected, it came through without much fanfare. And we don't see a lot of eventful weather coming up over the next couple of days. Out at the airport tonight, things at St. Louis Labor International, pretty quiet. It is a Tuesday night. Look at your Bank of Southwest flights already in for the night. Taillights are out. They're packed up, ready for tomorrow morning's outgoing flights. So the first flights of the morning, in most cases, a lot of them, that's probably about half of them already there. All right, we are looking at temperatures overnight that drop to around 20. We're around 30 for the high tomorrow. So Wednesday, that's the coolest day out of the next 7. Probably the coolest day out of the next 10 to 14, the way we're looking at it right now. We go back into the 40s here Thursday afternoon, close to 50 on Friday before some cooler air, ever be it so slightly cooler, comes in here for Saturday. And then we're back into the 50s next week. So next week, we're going to get a trend where we go well above average, it looks like. You look at the Climate Prediction Center, February 10th to 16th, warmer than average. The probabilities are high for us to be warmer than average next week. Now, our average high next week runs about 43 to 45 degrees through the course of the week. That means, above that. Why? Well, this is why. The pattern's going to change. We've been stuck in this cold, overall cold pattern where the cold keeps coming down in the central and eastern part of the country. We get a little taste of chilly air again on Wednesday. Another surge of Arctic air is plowing into the Great Lakes. Across the Northeast, the Mid-Atlantic. This is taking us into Saturday and Sunday. It is going to be brutal in New York City this weekend. I mean, just brutally cold. Boston, too. And all the way down into Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, Cleveland, Toronto's miserable. We're just kind of on the fringes of all of that. So that means it's not that bad this weekend. In fact, on Sunday, we start to warm up. And as the pattern shifts and adjusts, most of that Arctic air gets shunted back up towards the poles, and we are basically looking, I should say, toward the pole. There's a North Pole and a South Pole. Not too many, whatever. All right, so the Arctic air should remain to our north here as we go into next week. That opens the door for what is typically a more unsettled pattern for us. When we get into the southwest flow aloft, you can already see it off the California coast, a hint of some upper level system pushing on shore. Depending on how that rolls next week and the exact track it takes will dictate how much rain we end up seeing. There's definitely the chance of some rain by Tuesday night into Wednesday, into Thursday, perhaps into Friday. Looks like we're kind of in that prolonged period with the southwest flow aloft, but you can kind of see how that bears out here with your temperature trends just by the shading. Coolest weather to the north, warmer to the south. We're in the middle where it's quite tolerable and above average, still in the 50s for next Wednesday. Now we have to get there, and we're not there yet. So we still have a lot of ice in the river, still cold across the region tonight, down around 20. We do have plenty of clouds, though, into Thursday, but those clouds not producing any precipitation for us. We expect Wednesday to be the coldest day we see for the rest of this week and most likely all of next week. So that's going to take us into Valentine's Day. The impacts that we see, we really don't have any big active weather pattern impacts that we got to worry about, but it's still going to be below average temperature wise for the next 36 hours or so, but it's not nearly as bitter. I mean, last week was, something else. No record lows, but that prolonged period of really cold air, something we don't see frequently in St. Louis. Every few years you get a stretch like that. Here comes some more clouds from the north and west. Think they'll be drifting in overnight, early tomorrow. The system that tried to get together here this morning actually has been producing some heavy wet snow, parts of Kentucky tonight, and now it's pushing over into West Virginia. Again, that northwest flow aloft tends to keep the cloud cover around. So we think we're partly cloudy to mostly cloudy. Outlying areas where there's some breaks in the clouds, especially northeast of St. Louis with snow still on the ground, easily drop back into the teens. Those of us that can keep the cloud deck pretty steady, and we think that's the metro area. Much of the rest of us probably right around 20 into the low 20s. Tomorrow, a lot of clouds, and we're close to 30. This takes us into Friday morning. Another weather system is approaching from the north and west. We'll be on the warm side of it initially Friday morning, and then that cold front sweeps on through. This is the next set of Arctic air sliding in. Remember, this is the one that's got the brutal temperatures for the Northeast. I mean, I've seen wind chill forecast 30 to 40 degrees below zero. Some spots in the northeast as that cold Arctic high builds in. For us, we get a decent amount of sunshine on Friday into Saturday morning, Saturday afternoon into Sunday. We do increase the clouds a little bit, but this system that will be sliding in, more of a Pacific type system, which means the air behind it is not very cold. In fact, we have a warming trend next week. Yes, we get more cloud cover Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, into Friday. We bring in some rain chances there. Right now, we speculate that those rain chances are highest from Tuesday night in through Friday night, but it's not continuous rain. It looks like you'll get some waves of the shower chances. But look at your temps, 55 on Tuesday, and we may be underestimating, but we don't want to push it too warm just yet until we're a little more confident that we could do that, especially since we're still melting some snow. But close to 60 or above really is not out of the question on Wednesday as we get into this nice pattern change around the St. Louis area. I think most people are happy to see a little break from the cold. Some still like it really cold, but a lot of us are ready for a little bit of a break. We just don't want to jump into severe weather season right away. Correct? Am I right? I thought you'd say yes. All right, guys, have a great night. We will check you out on Wednesday. Of course, Gary has an update for you beginning 5 o'clock on 5 Plus and on television.